Hello, and greetings, lovely person. This is RPGmodsFan. In this video, I will be giving a brief overview of Candlekeep Mysteries, an anthology book filled with 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventures. Published by Wizards of the Coast in 2021, Candlekeep Mysteries is a book made up of 17 adventures ranging from 1st level up to 16th level. Each adventure is designed for 4 to 6 characters of a particular level. However, the Dungeon Master can adjust it for larger or smaller groups, as well as for characters of higher or lower levels, by swapping one monster or trap for another, by changing the number of foes in an encounter, and or by adjusting the difficulty challenge on a roll. When I hear Candlekeep, I cannot help but think about BioWare's old beloved video games titled Baldur's Gate, where the protagonist you create starts in Candlekeep. I have fond memories of playing this series. Oh, and as trivia, the Baldur's Gate series uses AD&D 2nd edition rules. Here is a side-by-side maps of Candlekeep. The one on the right is from the Candlekeep Mysteries adventure book. The one on the left is from the first Baldur's Gate computer game. I think the Baldur's Gate game gives a nice brief introduction to the keep, which I will now play.
Nestled atop the cliffs that rise from the Sword Coast, the citadel of Candlekeep houses the finest and most comprehensive collection of writings on the face of Faerun. It is an imposing fortress, kept in strict isolation from the intrigues that occasionally plague the rest of the Forgotten Realms. It is secluded, highly regimented.
So, Candlekeep is a very well-defended citadel containing an enormous library. Candlekeep is a library fortress whose keepers value books and knowledge more than gold. Basically, Candlekeep is the D&D version of the Library of Alexandria. Each adventure in the Candlekeep Mysteries anthology book embraces one of the following narrative concepts. The player characters discover a book in the library that contains a mystery. Getting to the bottom of this mystery requires embarking on an adventure. Or the characters come to Candlekeep on a quest for information, perhaps to solve a crisis elsewhere in the world. During their research, they uncover a book and the mystery it contains, which leads to the adventure. Although each adventure contains opportunities for exploration, role-playing, and combat, these short adventures work best with players who enjoy mysteries and discovering their secrets. Candlekeep is located along the Sword Coast in the Forgotten Realms campaign setting. The world of the Forgotten Realms is one of mostly high medieval fantasy, populated by elves, dwarves, halflings, humans, and other folk. The library fortress is located on the Sword Coast south of the infamous Baldur's Gate city. With some modification, the adventures in the book can be run in other campaign settings. On the world of Earth, where the Greyhawk campaign setting is, the Great Library in the free city of Greyhawk can be used as the starting point for the book's adventures. On Matt Mercer's World of Exandria, Candlekeep Mysteries suggests 2 possible locations for the library. One is on the continent of Wildemount. The other is on the continent of Tal'Dorei. On the continent of Wildemount, the Soltrice Academy, located in the city of Rexcentrum, can be used as the Great Library. Displayed is a close-up map showing the location of Rexcentrum City. On the continent of Tal'Dorei, the Cobalt Reserve in the small city of Westrun can be used as the Great Library, alternatively. On the world of Eberron, the Library of Kronberg and the nation of Zilargo can be used. Alternatively, the University of Wynarn's library and the nation of Onder can be used. Or, Morgrave University's library and the city of Sharn can be used to set the adventures in. The book also has a chapter about Candlekeep itself. However, there are already quite a bit of lore videos on Candlekeep on YouTube. So, doing a video on Candlekeep itself, for now, is low on my to-do list. However, I will briefly mention some things about Candlekeep. Candlekeep has the largest repository of written lore in Faerun, including the collected prophecies of an ancient sage named Orlando the Seer. In the Baldur's Gate video game, the protagonist can hear chanting of a few of Orlando's cryptic prophecies. One of those prophecies comes to fruition in the game.
In the year of the turrets, a great host will come from the east like a plague of locusts. So saith the wise Orlando.
When conflict sweeps across the dales, the great lizards of the north shall descend with fire and fury. So saith the great Orlando. When shadows descend upon the lands, our divine lords will walk alongside us as equals. So saith the great Orlando. The worm shall wander the earth, and such a pestilence will follow in his wake that all that know of his passing shall be struck down by the plague. So saith the wise Orlando.
The Lord of Murder shall perish, but in his doom he shall spawn a score of mortal progeny. Chaos will be sown from their passage. So saith the wise Orlando.
A legion of scholars, monks, and sages called the Avowed look after the library and remain vigilant in the care and cataloging of all the knowledge Candlekeep holds. Basically, they are the keep's librarians. Visitors to Candlekeep are known as seekers, and they must present a rare work of writing in order to gain entrance. Those who show up at the gates without such a gift are kindly but firmly turned away.
If you want.
Hold, travelers! Before you will be allowed entrance, you must donate a tome of great value to our library.
Seekers can request the assistance of an avowed adjunct who acts as a guide and research assistant for the duration of their visit. One of Candlekeep's strict rules is no copying. Anyone who wants to have a full copy of a work must go to the house of the binder and pay the scribes there to do so. This is probably Candlekeep's main source of income. Although I will not go into detail about the adventures in the book, I'm saving that for future videos, I will briefly be discussing them. So, warning, potential spoilers ahead. One common complaint about Candlekeep Mysteries is that for each adventure there is not an adventure overview or summary. In its first chapter, the book does list all the adventures and gives them one-sentence descriptions of each. However, this is not enough, and each adventure should have had an overview and summary. Actually, one adventure titled Shamshim's Bedtime Rhyme does have an adventure overview, but the rest do not. Again, like Shamshim's Bedtime Rhyme, each adventure should have had an overview or summary section to make the lives of fellow Dungeon Masters easier. My future plans are to do a separate walkthrough video on each adventure in the Candlekeep Mysteries book. Thank you for watching. Hope this video has been informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. I do like feedback. Until next time, this is RPGmodsFan saying cheers, have a good day, and goodbye.
There's just so much left to say. Wanna get to know you